Let's talk a little bit about the different ways that we could use promotional products. I'll give you an example of something that I received while I was at a blues festival in Atlanta. I was outside the world famous Fox Theater. We had attended a huge blues festival, and they were promoting Motown the musical, and they had a street team on the ground giving out those cardboard fans. I'm sure everybody has seen at some point. In this case, they were round and they were shaped like a gold record, specifically a Motown gold record promoting the upcoming play. So you have people that potentially fit into the target market for someone that might go see this play. And they were all walking around with the branding elements for this particular event. So obviously, in this case, we're talking about a play and not necessarily a music release, but that's just one example. I'll give you another example of how you might be able to use a promotional product. For years, I did a radio show, and this is just one of many different marketing activities that were deployed to get my attention in hopes of getting me to play someone's music. So there was an artist that was promoting a record. The record had a boxing theme, and what they did was they sent out these branded Everlast boxing gloves, actual, real, authentic boxing gloves that were branded in the fist with the artist logo and also the name of the single. The name of the single was Second Round KO, which obviously has a direct theme to boxing, to what the product is. And they sent this out, I'm not sure to how many radio stations, but the idea was that it would get our attention for the release and also help spread the word. I mean, think about that for a moment. How often would it be that somebody, whether you be on radio or maybe you're a writer for a blog or magazine, that somebody's going to send you a pair of boxing gloves, right? So in this case, it fit perfectly with the theme of the release. And it was noteworthy. It was something that would not only help invoke the idea of the release, but also be memorable enough for me here to be talking about it all these years later. And of course, at the time, to not only spread the word about the release, talking about this really cool item that they sent out, but also inspire me to play the music, right? So in that case, you had a promotional item that was meant specifically, and you would imagine that a boxing glove, especially an authentic Everlast a pair of boxing gloves, it would be fairly pricey. But in this case, it was meant for someone that was going to help spread the word to countless, in this case, potentially thousands of others. So, it makes sense maybe to spend a little bit more on that particular promotional item. In the case of the cardboard fans, something like that is a fairly low priced item, which means that you could go ahead and give it away potentially to hundreds, if not thousands of people that, fit somewhere into your target market. So potentially your end user. So in one case, you have an item that, costs significantly less because it's meant to build awareness amongst that audience, and on the other hand, you have a product that's meant to catch the attention of an influencer or somebody that's going to spread the word to a broader array of potential consumers for the product. Another example is an artist that I was assisting on promoting his baseball themed release. So he had an album that was about the highs and lows of being a baseball fan. And one of the promotional items that he developed was a miniature Louisville Slugger bat that he branded with the name of his release, with his name, and also a website that someone might be able to go to learn more about consuming that particular release. In this case, as you would imagine, a miniature bat is going to be a fairly pricey proposition. However, the intended audience wasn't the end user. It was actually bloggers, baseball bloggers that spend all their time writing about the world of baseball and stats, and again, the highs and lows of being a baseball fan. So again, if you think about this for a moment, how often is it that a person that writes about baseball, whether it be a columnist for a paper or potentially someone that blogs about the sport, is going to receive something promoting a music release? In this case, it's a perfect match because that release is about baseball, which I would imagine is going to appeal to the people that read that column, even though it's not necessarily going to be a music based platform. The audience obviously has synergy with the theme of the release. So in this case, we're talking about a higher priced item, but it's meant to help build awareness with someone that potentially is going to spread the word to, who knows, hundreds, if not thousands of people. And now flip that back around to a smaller ticket item that you might use to build awareness directly with a consumer. I was at a horror convention, and at that horror convention, they were promoting a pretty bloody video game. And I'm not going to get into the details of the game, but in the game, essentially, you were a patient in the hospital and you had to get out of the hospital. And part of getting out had to do with all types of, let's just say, violence. And the promotional item that they were giving away at a horror convention, fitting for the game, was a bloody medical wristband. And again, think about that for a moment. First of all, a wristband is it was actually a medical wristband. So something like that is made out of like a really cheap plastic. It's meant to be disposed of, so it's not going to cost that much money to make. And in this case, I would imagine that they gave it away to thousands of people that attended this conference. And at such a low cost, they could afford to do that because, again, it wasn't a lot for each individual piece, but potentially they were going to influence a target market, someone that's already into something that you might consider macabre, to be interested in such a video game. All right, so let's talk a little bit about content marketing. Content marketing in many ways is comparable to a promotional product in the physical space, except in this case, it's something that you're making available that is digital and you're giving it away for free. But it's not just, like taking a promotional message and putting it on social media about your release. It's something that provides value in and of itself. So Dua Lipa was promoting a new album, and what they went ahead and did was they put together a throwback themed sitcom starring the artist that they made available on IGTV, with the idea to not only entertain but also to help draw and bring attention to the artist's new release. So that's an example of content marketing. In and of itself, it is a form of entertainment. It provides value, and it's not just a promotion beating the viewer over the head with the message of go buy this or go play this, go stream this. Instead, it's entertaining, it's providing value, and above and beyond that, it's also informing about the release and hopefully building awareness about that release. Another example would be Ava Max. Ava Max is a recording artist who had a brand new album. And what she did was she hosted a concert release party on the digital gaming platform Roblox. So basically, you attended the event as an avatar, as you would in that kind of environment. And you had the ability to not only watch the artist perform and do a little Q&A, but also they would give it away virtual merch. So this was, merch that was meant to be worn, or potentially in some cases they had swords that were themed after the album that were meant to be used by the participants' avatars on that platform. So again, in this case, we're talking about something that is digital, that's providing value. It was kind of an environment, kind of like a game, an experience, and it wasn't just a blatant promotion for the album. Another example is Iron Maiden. A lot of people, I would imagine, are familiar with this classic heavy metal band, been around for decades, and they were promoting an album. And what they did was they developed a website that was kind of a throwback to those 8-bit games like the old school early 90s NES games. And you basically would play the game, and as you're playing the game, like this old school game on the website, you're hearing their music in the background, and there are all these elements specific to the release that they're helping promote through the process of playing this game. So just one more example of content marketing. I'll give you one more. Amoeba Music is a pretty well-known record store. Actually, there are three of them in California. And one of the features, if you visit their website, is called What's in the Bag. And it's basically a mini documentary, if you will, that they shoot. It's a series that they shoot with artists that visit the store. And within the context of that piece, they talk about what they're buying, but you're also learning about some of the projects that they have going on. So this is also an example of content marketing. You're creating content that's both informing, is providing value, and at the same time, it's helping build awareness for something else. In this case, the product that you're trying to get people to learn about and hopefully consume. Okay, so I want to read you the definition of content marketing by the Content Marketing Institute. They say content marketing is a marketing technique of creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and acquire a clearly defined audience with the objective of driving profitable customer action. So there you go. You have your prompts, you have your directions. Please read them. And I look forward to learning about all of the interesting concepts that you develop, not just for promotional products, but also for digital content.